'Tis the season for scammers, and now they've found yet another way to steal your money, even if you don't swipe your credit card.
You're standing in line at the coffee shop. It's a normal Monday morning. The person behind you is close, the way people always are when the line is moving and nobody's paying attention to personal space. You order, you tap your card, you wait for the beep, and you move on. Now, if you are the kind of person who has spent decades being careful with money, and most people watching this have, you already know the obvious rules. Don't share your PIN. Don't hand your card to strangers. Watch your statements. Those habits are real and they still matter. But there is a method spreading right now that those habits were never designed to stop. And the reason it is hitting people over 60 harder than almost any other group is because they are careful in the old way. And this is a new way. The person behind you in that line was holding a phone. The phone was running a program. And in the seconds that you stood at that terminal, your card was being read. The theft was complete before you got your coffee. It is a documented fraud method with real arrests and confirmed losses across multiple countries. The question is not what you did wrong. The question is what you did not yet know. The technique has a name. Researchers and law enforcement agencies call it ghost tap. Think of it as a remote control for your card, one that was set up without your knowledge long before that morning at the coffee shop. And like any remote control, it works at a distance. The person using it doesn't need to be anywhere near you. They just need the signal. Here is how they get it. Before anyone stood near you in that line, your card credentials had already been stolen. Most commonly, this happens through a phishing message, a text that appears to come from your bank, telling you there was suspicious activity on your account and asking you to verify your card details through a link. The message looks legitimate. The bank's name is correct. The logo matches. The tone is urgent in exactly the way a real bank alert sounds urgent. You tap the link. A small piece of software installs on your Android phone silently, with no visible sign that anything has happened. No warning, no slowdown, no unusual behavior whatsoever. The phone looks and works exactly as it always did. That software has one job. It uses the NFC chip built into your phone to read the payment card sitting in your nearby wallet and relay those credentials to a server controlled by the attacker. NFC stands for Near Field Communication, the same short-range wireless technology that allows you to tap your card at a checkout terminal. It is the technology behind the little wave symbol on your card and on the reader at the register. Your card broadcasts a short signal when it comes within range of an NFC reader. Normally, that reader is the payment terminal in front of you, but your phone, now compromised, is also an NFC reader, and it is with you all the time, in your pocket, on your nightstand, in your bag, inches from your wallet. The moment the malware reads your card, it forwards those credentials to a server. That server loads them onto a burner phone held by a money mule, someone hired specifically to carry out the physical part of the fraud. From that point forward, that burner phone is functionally equivalent to your card. When it is held near any payment terminal, a register, a transit kiosk, a fast food counter, an ATM, it generates a contactless payment using your account number, your expiration data, and the authentication token your card's chip produces. The transaction processes, the receipt prints, and your bank, looking at that transaction from the inside, sees everything it expects to see from a legitimate tap to pay payment. The person holding that burner phone doesn't need your physical card. They don't need your PIN. They don't need your signature or your presence. The mule executing the transaction may be in a different city. The criminal who set up the server may be in a different country. The phishing message that started the whole chain may have been sent from somewhere else entirely. Each piece of the operation is separate, and each person handles only their piece. That separation is deliberate. It makes the fraud harder to trace and harder to shut down. Think of the relay as a bridge. On one end, your card sitting in your wallet right now. On the other end, a stranger at a terminal you will never see, in a location you will never visit. That bridge was built the moment you tapped that link. It carries your money in one direction, and it stays open, silently, until you close it. You have probably spent years doing the careful things, covering the keypad when you enter your PIN, never handing your card to strangers, checking payment terminals for anything that looks off. All of that still matters for other threats, but Ghost Tap doesn't need any of those openings. It doesn't need your PIN. It doesn't require anyone to touch your card or tamper with any terminal you use. The fraudulent transaction runs at a completely separate terminal, one you will never see in a location that you have never been, operated by a money mule who may be in a different city, a different state, or a different country entirely. Your card never leaves your wallet. Your wallet never leaves your pocket. And yet, when that mule holds their burner phone near a register, your bank sees a transaction that looks, from every angle available to it, exactly like you making a legitimate contactless payment. The bank sees your card credentials. It sees the correct card number and expiration data. It sees the authentication token your card's chip generated. It sees a tap to pay transaction, the same kind you make regularly. There is nothing in that transaction that automatically triggers a fraud alert. That is not a failure of your bank's systems. That is the design of the attack. The entire point is to produce a transaction that looks real, because it uses real credentials that came from your real card. Everything you were taught about protecting your card was designed for a different kind of theft. This is a different kind of theft, and it requires a different kind of response. The good news is that the response is simple, but you have to know what you are responding to first. The first transaction is almost never large. A small retail purchase, a transit fare, a fast food charge in a city you have never visited. The criminal is testing, confirming your credentials work and checking whether your bank's fraud monitoring reacts. If those small charges clear without triggering an alert, the pace picks up. More transactions, more merchants, more locations, each one still small enough to blend into everyday spending when glanced at quickly. Meanwhile, you are going about your day. Your card is in your wallet. You have no indication anything is wrong. There is no alert, no call from the bank, no sign of any kind that something has been set in motion. By the time a pattern becomes obvious enough for your bank's systems to flag it, hours may have passed. In documented cases investigated by cybersecurity firm ESET and confirmed by Czech police, victims had no idea their credentials had been relayed until fraudulent ATM withdrawals appeared on their statements. Withdrawals made with no physical card by someone who had never been anywhere near them. The suspect arrested in Prague in March 2024 was carrying the equivalent of more than $6,000 in cash withdrawn this way when police stopped him. That was one person, one campaign, targeting customers of 3 banks over several months. The method has since crossed borders and expanded rapidly. Group IB, a cybersecurity research firm, documented multiple Ghost Tap tools sold openly on Telegram between 2024 and 2025, with at least $355,000 in confirmed fraudulent transactions traced to a single criminal vendor during that period. In October 2024, the Texas Financial Crimes Intelligence Center, the U.S. Secret Service, and the FBI jointly issued an advisory warning. American consumers and financial institutions, specifically about NFC-based payment fraud tools. Cybersecurity firm Resecurity reported in early 2025 that NFC fraud incidents in just the first quarter of that year had already exceeded several $1 million in damages at a single major U.S. financial institution. This is not a threat on the horizon. It is active right now, it is spreading, and the people running it are organized, well-resourced, and getting better at it. If you have a parent, a neighbor, or anyone in your life who taps to pay with a phone or a contactless card, keep that in mind. The defense has a name: close the gate. 3 steps, each one targeting a different point in the attack chain. Step 1. Treat every unexpected message from your bank as a test, not an instruction. Ghost Tap always begins with phishing, a text, an email, or a call that creates urgency and tells you to verify your card through a link or scan it through an app. The message will look real. The logo will be right. The language will sound official and alarming. The one thing it will always do is pressure you to act immediately. That pressure is the tell. Legitimate banks do not send unsolicited links asking you to scan or verify your payment card. If you receive that message, do not tap the link. Close it. Then call the number printed on the back of your card directly, not a number in the message, not a number from a search result, the number already on your card. That single habit cuts the attack off before the software ever reaches your phone. Step 2. Turn off NFC on your phone when you are not actively using it to pay. On most Android phones, this takes 4 taps in settings. With NFC off, the malware has no pathway to read your card even if it somehow reaches your device. Step 3. Enable real-time transaction alerts from your bank, not the weekly summary, but the instant notification sent to your phone every single time your card is charged. This does not stop a ghost tap transaction from going through, but it destroys the time window the criminal depends on. The mule needs time to run multiple transactions before you notice and freeze the card. A real-time alert delivers the first charge to your screen the moment it happens. An unfamiliar merchant name. A city you have never been to. That is your signal. One call to your bank closes the card before anything else clears. Remember the bridge. These 3 steps: never tap a bank link, close the NFC gate, watch the door in real time. Take the bridge down before the mule ever gets to use it. You came into this video thinking the main risk to your card was someone physically taking it from you. That is still true in some situations. But the fraud growing fastest right now does not need your card at all. It needs a convincing text message. It needs a moment of urgency. It needs your phone to sit near your wallet long enough for software to relay what your card broadcasts. And then it needs someone to stand near a terminal for just a few seconds and tap. You never see any of it. You never feel it. Your card stays in your pocket the whole time. Now you understand what Ghost Tap is: the relay, the bridge, the burner phone at the far end of a chain that started with one link you tapped without knowing what it would do. You know where that chain starts. You know that breaking it at the beginning stops everything that follows. And you know the 3 steps that close the gate before it opens. Never tap a link that claims to be your bank, switch off NFC when you are not paying, and turn on real-time alerts so you see every charge the moment it lands. None of this requires anything expensive or technical. It requires knowing the one thing most people have not been told clearly enough to act on. The difference between someone this system catches and someone it does not is almost never luck. It is almost always this: knowing what the first move looks like before it arrives. If you have someone in your life who banks on a phone, who gets texts, who taps to pay, pass this video on to them as information precise enough to change what they do the next time that message arrives. That is what you have now. Use it.